going on today? Newest millionaire real estate agent at Keller Williams. So we're excited to have you here today. Before we get started, I'm just going to introduce Rebecca and Tim, give you a little bit of their bio. Rebecca San Juan writes about commercial and residential real estate in South Florida for the Miami Herald. She also produces the Miami Herald's weekly RE Source newsletter. She's a 2021 Poynter-Koch Media and Journalism Fellow and an alumna of the Mount Holyoke College. So I hope I didn't.
Mount Holyoke.
I don't know if I said that right. You'll have to correct me, Rebecca.
It's Mount Holyoke. You got it.
Perfect. And most of you probably already know Tim. Like I said, he serves as the executive director for the Lincoln Road Business Improvement District, which was created to stabilize and improve the Lincoln Road Retail District through promotion, management, and marketing. He brings 30 years of experience because he's worked Grove Business Improvement District, Bayfront Park, Management Trust, and Historical Museum of South Florida. So we're excited to have both these guys here. I'm gonna let Rebecca start off by, I know she had some questions for Tim to get the conversation going. In the meantime, if any of you guys have questions, please feel free to just put them in the chat and we'll be monitoring that, okay?
Great, so let's get started. Tim, as you know, COVID impacted every part of our economy. How has COVID changed the retail experience on Lincoln Road?
Well, good morning, Rebecca, and I want to thank the Chamber for having me here today. COVID gave us an opportunity to begin to rethink the way we deal with retail on Lincoln Road. It was an opportunity for us to begin trying different ideas and different pop-up ideas that would become sort of incubator opportunities for new and emerging retailers. We found that through our partnerships with Sobey Wine and Food Festival and some of the property owners on Lincoln Road, we were able to commence a pop-up program. We were able to bring new and interesting retailers onto the space. And the other thing that it did, it allows us to realize the importance of Lincoln Road in our lives. Lincoln Road, in addition to being a retail destination, is a magnificent botanical garden. And during COVID, when we were confined to our homes, when everybody was forced to wear masks, there were some places we could go that were safe or safer. And when COVID struck, it was our goal to make Lincoln Road that destination.
Good. Okay, excellent. And that leads me to one of my next questions. What were some of the opportunities in terms of what were some new programs? You spoke about the pop-up program. Can you talk about maybe some other programs that the Lincoln Road bid put forward, like the outdoor cinema experience?
So, you know, the thing is, and it goes back to that line that everybody was saying at the beginning of the pandemic, never let a good crisis go to waste. So we took the opportunity to try and think broadly on how to present to the public interesting opportunities in the context of the pandemic. The first thing we did with our partners at the New World Symphony was musicians and golf carts. On Father's Day weekend of 2020, we did a test run with musicians and golf carts. And then subsequently, following when the season began in late 20 and through 2021, on the last weekend of every month, we had 3 classically trained musicians traveling in 3 golf carts over 3 nights performing on Lincoln Road. And, you know, it was wildly successful. It captured the imagination of the media. It captured the imagination of everybody on Lincoln Road. We followed that up by recognizing that as a result of the pandemic, people's health and wellness regimes were thrust to the side because there were no safe places to do health and wellness programming. With our partners, and partnerships are so important to Lincoln Road, with our partners at 1111, we were able to take the most beautiful parking garage on the planet and turn it into a workout space for free classes on Saturdays and Sundays. And we started that, you know, early on in the pandemic. And because the space is so large, we could, you know, achieve social distancing and still get up to 77 people in for every class. And let me tell you, in the beginning of the pandemic, people were dying to get out and do their health and wellness programming. So we were offering boot camp on Saturday, and yoga on Sundays. Those classes continue today, are free classes. But also during the height of the pandemic, we recognized that our health and wellness businesses on the beach also needed a space to work out. So we constructed a deal with 1111 where people who owned and operated yoga studios or workout studios could also get into the space. So Monday through Friday, there were paid classes offered by Green Monkey, Tropical Vinyasa, Tony Thomas, it was a panoply of classes that you could take. And that continued through the pandemic until the studios were able to go back inside. And now we continue with our free classes.
And go ahead, Tim.
Oh, I mean, the problem is, or the benefit is, the pandemic gave us these opportunities to experiment so much. I have a list of things that we did. So the Miami City Ballet didn't have sufficient room at their studios for all the dancers to work out. Not to dance, but just to work out, because it's a very physical process to do ballet. So we partnership again with Comras at 744 Lincoln Road, and we brought in the Miami City Ballet on, I think it was the 35th anniversary year of their starting on Lincoln Road. And they danced or practiced in 755 Lincoln Road for a couple months. And then on top of that, there was a performance on Lincoln Road by the dancers. And the thing that made the pandemic special for the dancers is during a regular season, they would dance Balanchine's repertoire. It's beautiful. But the pandemic gave the young dancers an opportunity to choreograph their own works, so that what was performed on Lincoln Road and in a variety of locations around the community were original works choreographed by young dancers. I mean, that's the kind of thing, without the pandemic, we would have never considered that. Our partners at Terra Nova, Stephen Battelle is an orchid lover. And he partnered with Fairchild to put orchids in the 800 block of Lincoln Road. While he's there doing the orchids, while Fairchild is there doing the orchids, the president of Fairchild is walking around with a member of the bid board. And he explains to the bid board, who was vice president at the time, he said, "You have a magnificent botanical garden here." It led to a partnership with Fairchild Tropical Garden, where they put in 140 QR codes and planted, I think there's over 2,000 orchids on Lincoln Road now. There are QR codes and orchids up and down Lincoln Road, and it's a celebration of the unique botanical garden that has created over time on Lincoln Road. And it's like the oddity of Lincoln Road. There was a butterfly in South Florida called the Atala butterfly, and it was dependent on a particular plant to survive. And that plant had an economic value through, say, the 1950s. And it was harvested to near extinction in the 1950s. And the butterfly, as a result of that plant disappearing, also disappeared. In the 60s, they found a small population of these butterflies in the pine lands in Southwest Dade. The plant that the butterfly depends on is called Comte. And in the 1980s, there was a movement afoot among landscape architects to use native plants in their plantings. And so they planted Comte up and down Lincoln Road. Now, the Atala butterfly, once on the verge of extinction, is now, there's as many Atala butterflies on Lincoln Road as pigeons. You know, it's a very,
Is that a question?
I guess not. And I keep going because, you know, after we did that, we reached out to the best known food entrepreneurs in Miami. And we'll just say for the sake of this conversation, it was El Bagel and The Salty Donuts. And we started a brunch time sort of musical food pop-up on Lincoln Road that ran quite successfully for 6 months through the pandemic. in the winter. And so we had, it was great. We had donuts and bagels, and we partnered with the Rhythm Foundation and brought in some of the most interesting musical performers to be heard in South Florida from, 10 till 2 on Saturdays and Sundays. And then out of that grew a partnership with the South Beach Wine and Food Festival, where to work with those people, and Danny was one of them, these food entrepreneurs who were working out, they had time on their hands during the pandemic. They were working out the business model of these food.
During that, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure he had too much time on his hands.
I spoke, Jared. Danny had nothing to do with it. So,
That's funny.
so it gave food entrepreneurs an opportunity to come to Lincoln Road, and we did this thing called the South Beach Wine and Food Artisan Market on Lincoln Road. We did it pretty much on the last Sunday of the month for 5 months last year.
Tim,
We'd have, go ahead.
so I just want to jump in here. So you mentioned a list of great initiatives, really successful initiatives that you've seen a positive impact. Were there some learning lessons or curveballs that you learned from and then grew from and applied that learning lesson to make more successful programs and initiatives during this time?
I think the thing that you have to remember whenever you go to do an event is that you have to be fluid. You have to be like water and know that what you think the rules may be may not be the rules to get to the end. So for the music during the that we did, because we had set the schedule this past year, we were pretty confident 10 till 2. In our conversations as we lead in, because we intend to repeat a number of these programs this year, as we look at these, we're thinking that maybe the musical performances will be later in the day. And then based on some information that we're gathering through recently acquired technologies, we're looking at like the busy times on Lincoln Road, the peaks of people coming. And our strongest communication method seems to be social media these days. And social media sort of comes up from the public. So the more public that are involved in your facility at the most interesting times is when the social media also rises. So we're trying to think about how to match the programming to the attendance, because there's a number of ways to look about it. You choose a day where nothing's happening, and then you try and make something happen. Or you choose a day where there's already a fixed audience, and you allow that audience to sort of magnify your message out to the world. And we're working through those things.
That's an excellent, yes, go ahead.
No, it's just like the way we're thinking about things now.
And Rebecca, if you don't mind, I'm just going to jump in real quick here because you brought up Stephen Biddle, and I think all this programming is great, and it's great for the new tenants and the new owners. But of course, we are a real estate council, so what we really want to talk about is how is all that affecting real estate buying and selling and trading hands. I know that Stephen Biddle has the new Loomis Art project. So can you tell us a little bit about that and what they're going to be doing there for Terra Nova?
So Loomis is, I think, moving into 733 Lincoln Road.
737.
737. They are an internationally recognized gallery who does primarily prints. I've had conversations with the principals who are coming. I've connected them with local PR firms, and we're very excited. There are a number of galleries opening on Lincoln Road, which sort of returns us to our roots, as it were, in the 80s of being an arts destination, arts and culture destination. They have other things about Patel and his property.
Well, I'm not for sure. Is this Plant Daddy also something in
Okay,
there?
so one of the other things, this happened pre-pandemic, but it was foresighted and just lucky that in 2019, the city created a program where you could do retail and restaurant pop-ups off a special event permit without having to get a BTR, which can be troublesome. It's really not, but when you talk to people who say you got to get a BTR, say, oh, not a BTR. But anyways, we could open pop-ups on special events. And the Terra Nova companies led sort of the way, the charge in pop-ups. So Plant Daddy was a pop-up, and pop-ups,
Okay.
you could come in for a 90-day period on a special event permit, potentially get it extended to 180, but eventually you would have to make the call, do I want to get a BTR and a permanent lease, or do I want to end my operation? Both Plant Daddy and
Soul survey.
Soul and Sorbet have extended, so Plant Daddy doubled the size of their space, and Soul and Sorbet is operating directly on Lincoln Road. And it's just an indication that it's not, we could have an hour-long conversation about what needs to happen for a pop-up to be successful. And just in brief, you need to capture lightning in a bottle. And Plant Daddy, because people, as much as they were getting puppies and kittens during the pandemic, they were getting plants. And Plant Daddy, being adjacent to Lincoln Road and able to come out during the farmers market and the other markets, was able to begin to create a business. So it was right place, right time for him. Soul and Sorbet does lovely resort wear. Nothing appropriate for me, but there's plenty for whom it is.
Go ahead, Rebecca. Did you have something else?
Yes, I actually, well, going off of that, I wanted to know, while we've seen some tenants that joined during the pop-up program and now they're extending their square footage, their footprint on Lincoln Road, which is great. We've also seen some big tenants. We had recently this year, Pizza Rustica, just a few days ago, Dylan's Candy Bar. These are long-term tenants that have left Lincoln Road. How does the bid address these losses, and what's the strategy to keep them, to keep long-term tenants?
Pizza Rustica was one of my go-to places on the road. And at my age, I'm not eating much candy. So Dylan's a pleasant place to walk by and dream about. So they both will be missed. The retail world, the commercial real estate world, as most people in this conversation know, is not a static state. There is constant change, there's constant evolution of market, there's constant evolution of demand, and things, you know, I often tell people this, and I don't want to be flippant about it, but I'm going to say it anyway. There's only one Joe Stonecrab. And that, think of what Joe Stonecrab had to do to be Joe Stonecrab and still be here since what, 1911? So when we look at the retail landscape, when we look at the restaurant landscape, we know that there are restaurants and retailers that are for their moment. And sometimes that moment passes. And things move on. But Pizza Rustica, look, they're fine. They're off in another location. They're just not on Lincoln Road. The people who are managing the properties on Lincoln Road for the owners are out there doing their level best to bring in retailers and restaurants appropriate to Lincoln Road. The Balin's family is bringing in a new restaurant at the former Balin's location. There's a new restaurant going into the meat market location. You know, Harry's is opening, Tacombe's is coming. I have a list of about 19 businesses about to come or just opened on Lincoln Road. And I think there is a direct connection between the pandemic and these businesses coming to Lincoln Road. We thought, or a lot of people thought, that the pandemic may have been the end of the world. And yet for South Florida, the pandemic became this great commercial and residential real estate boom that if somebody would have said to you at the beginning of the pandemic, oh, there's a disease and you can't go out. Oh, by the way, housing prices are going to go through the roof and businesses from the north are going to move to Florida. They say, what? You're crazy. But that's what happened. And that sort of thing, I think, is going to, you know, sort of speak to the way that we repopulate Lincoln Road and all of South Beach is through this interest from places that we had not expected in the past.
Well, talking about repopulating Lincoln Road, you have 19 tenants, you said, that have either recently opened or are about to open. Who are they catering to? Who is the shopper, the typical shopper today on Lincoln Road, and how has it changed, if at all, since before the pandemic?
So before the pandemic, the city did a survey of residents and the most popular destinations on the beach. And Lincoln Road, far and away, was the most popular destination for Miami Beach residents. And I think that it continues in that sort of way for those immediate needs that you can acquire on Lincoln Road. If you have an Apple phone, you're going to the Apple store. If you think of yourself as a runner or into the health and wellness category of shoppers, you know, there's Lululemon, Nike, Athletica, Gap. I mean, that's where you're going to go to get your stuff. If you need bicycles or skateboards, you're going to go see Fritz. So Lincoln Road still plays a unique role and an essential role in like the Miami Beach ecosystem. Also because we're one of the nicest public spaces that you'll find anywhere. So that we're a place where people can bring, and I used to judge a place by how often people came with their children, or women would come alone and feel comfortable, or couples could feel amorous to each other in a public space. Those are good signs of a public space. The other thing that has been added since in the relatively recent past is people who bring their dogs. And, you know, the relationship that people have with their dogs are the relationships that I think my parents had with me when I was a child. And, you know, when they want to bring their dogs or their fur children out for fun, they bring them to Lincoln Road and let them, you know, mingle with the other dogs. And it's an important space for us to fill. So, you know, Lincoln Road is still that place. Despite the pandemic and despite the regulations, we're still a social animal. You know, we're those apes out of Africa that like to get together and look at one another and see, oh, who's friend and who's foe and what are they wearing and what is it? You know, so Lincoln Road provides that space.
And we do have a major office project that is in the pipeline. It's right off of Lincoln Road. It would convert some parking lots that people, when they go to shop, they go park their car there and they go roam about the area. Now those parking lots would be converted into a major office project. Where does the Lincoln Road bid? This is a City of Miami Beach Commission initiative by Ricky Ariola. Where does the bid stand regarding this project?
So the bid board of directors is completely behind this project. And the pathway for developers to get to the RFP is through the Lincoln Road website. So there has been a lot of thought and conversation about how this is to work. And I think the sort of like the ground level thing is before any of the parking lots are transformed, there has to be an answer to what will be done with parking while they're in the midst of transformation. So it's 3 parking lots and then the 17th Street garage that are included in the RFP. The deadline is November 15th. And of course, that's just the beginning of the process. There'll be the review, and then none of this will be able to take place without voter approval by beach residents. So we're early on in the process, but it's an opportunity. So, you know, I spend a lot of time making jokes about things. I'm funny sometimes. And when I look at the parking lots on Lincoln Lane North, I see these acres of asphalt. And I think, is there going to be, I'm just wondering, a committee that saved my asphalt? And,
Oh my God.
and because it's so beautiful. And it's like the natural environment of the beach to have this asphalt here. And so if we look at like where the New World Center stands today and the Soundscape Park, that was once a parking lot. And, you know, when we consider what's the relative value of the parking lot that was there or the New World Symphony and Soundscape Park, I think we would come down pretty briskly with saying, yeah, I think New World Symphony and Soundscape Park was a good thing that we did. And one hopes that in the process of identifying the operators for these or developers for these new structures, should it get to that point, that it'll be as impactful and as important to us as the New World Symphony is to the beach brand, to the culture that we've established.
But
I wanna
everything that's, oh, sorry, go ahead, Mary.
Go ahead, Rebecca.
So I
Sorry.
just wanted to follow up with regarding that point. So everything along Lincoln Road is really just recreational. It's to have a good time. People go out to shop, dine, have a good experience, a good time. But having an office project right off of Lincoln Road, how do you think that's going to impact the tenants and the residents? How might it change Lincoln Road? Might it change the vibe, if at all?
You know, I have so many ways to think about this. So when I look at the asphalt, when I look at Lincoln Lane North, when I look at, you know, what's there now and what could be as a result of, don't think of office buildings, think of office campuses. Think of green space with trees and fountains that becomes an environment where people go to work. And I don't know, did you ever work, have you been at the Herald long enough to have worked at 1 Herald Square?
I unfortunately never worked at that building, no.
There was a charming bar across the street from 1 Herald Square that people, all the editors, the guys that worked in the print, all of them met in this bar. And one imagines that Lincoln Road would be that destination for the people who work in these new offices. That it would add to sort of the vibrancy of both the office experience and the Lincoln Road experience. Fingers crossed.
So I'll just jump in real quick because I want to bring up the office space as well. First of all, you brought up Carrie's Pizzeria. That's in the building where I am, 1680 Meridian.
Congratulations.
I'm so excited. 4 years later, it's finally getting ready to open. By the way, they're hiring. They need people. If anybody knows, has any young kids or something, they need a job. And it's really changing our office, but especially next door at 1688 Meridian, which is now being considered Class A office space. And we talk about that a lot in this council, how much Class A office space is needed on Miami Beach. So can you tell us about that? Do you know who's going to be going in there? I heard it's already 82% leased.
I don't have any of that information.
No? Because isn't that part of Meridian considered an offshoot of Lincoln Road?
No,
now?
it's okay. It's included in the bid.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
So and you guys know this, you're in commercial real estate. Like when you're in the process of doing a deal and going to sign a lease, you don't tell everybody, hey, I've got whoever.
Right.
It's always, you know, you keep your cards close to your vest because it's not a deal until it's a deal. And then you announce, and then we'll know who's there. And I can assure you, just as an aside, that the people who are the commercial brokers on Lincoln Road and the owners and everything keep everything very close to their vest until it's a done deal, because you know what happens if you announce something and then it goes sideways. You're standing there holding the fuzzy end of the lollipop, and nobody likes to do that.
So I also saw that the building where Aerie Lingerie is, that's also changed hands.
Yes, that recently changed hands. That was the president of the bid owned that building, and he sold it. And there's new owners that are, you know, very competent and interesting folks. And
No idea what's going on.
so, okay, so Aerie is still in that one space.
Okay.
And, you know, going back to our pop-ups as part of like the pop-up program, because it was crazy during the pandemic, you couldn't do auto shows during the pandemic. And that location and 744 Lincoln Road were also used for auto shows during the pandemic. So one was Lexus and one was Toyota.
Yeah. All right, so my only other question, and I don't know if this is considered part of Lincoln Road, I saw there was also a change in hands at 1681 Lennox, where Yard House is. Is that considered?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Okay.
And so I think, so Yard House is a great business.
Yeah.
Yard House is doing great. And the fact that somebody purchased the property, that's the way life is in the commercial real estate world, right? If you see a piece of property that's got a good tenant on it and you've got the money and you like the space, you buy into it. And I think the best example of that to consider these days is what Grutman is doing at the Firestone location, right? while it's not in the Lincoln Road bid, it's sort of in the Lincoln Road district, and it impacts everything around us. So you've got, Grutman over at Firestone. You've got Crescent Heights at 1212 Lincoln with Sabadell's and Citizen M Hotel. I think that there is this great, and, not to put too fine a point on it, the convention center is immediately to my left. I don't know where it is to everybody in Zoom, but but there is this opportunity and this critical mass of events and things happening right now that are only, speaking positively to the future. The thing, our biggest challenge these days is to get past this, to get past where we have to wear masks, where we can do everything that we want to do and do it comfortably without having concerns about that which I shall not name.
Right, thank
Rebecca,
you.
did
No, I'm all set. I don't know if we want to give Mario a chance to ask some questions.
Awesome. Yeah, if you don't mind, since we were talking about, potential here and there was a little bit of a boom, probably pre-COVID, where there's a lot of little boutique hotels opening up on Lincoln or just kind of right off Lincoln, such as like the Sterling Hotel that they're building. Can you shed a little light on any progress on those that you may know of?
So no one has taken me into their confidence about what's going on with those hotels, but there were two locations, one at the Lincoln Center, which is at the corner of Lincoln and Meridian, and then the Sterling Building. And what happened with the Convention Center Hotel is any indication, I think there was a concern in the credit markets about money at that time.
Sure.
And things are on hold until such times as that changes. That's what I think, but I haven't spoken with anybody about it directly.
Got it. Perfect. And then on that same point, I think this was pre-COVID as well. I think there might have been a GoFund that was raising money for Lincoln Road to build a bunch of parks and more exterior art installations on and around Lincoln Road. Can you shed a little light on that?
I am not aware of that at all.
Oh.
Like, are you talking about the Geo bond?
It may be a geo bond, it may be another form, but I know there was some talk of expanding and beautifying Lincoln Road by adding some parks on and nearby the area, more common areas, more green areas, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Maybe that's
But
just hearsay. I'm sorry?
I can look into it and get back.
Oh, okay, no, maybe it's just hearsay, neighborhood chatter, who knows?
Hey guys, is it possible, Mario, that you're speaking about the James Corner plan?
Well, that's part of it. That was part of it, yeah. I think there's some issues with some financing there, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't want to bring that up specifically, but that was part of it.
So the issue with the James Corner plan is the city and James Corner are having conversations about the extent of the plan. And
Right.
we're not necessarily privy to those conversations. So we consider the city good partners in all of this and are optimistic that it'll work out for the best.
Sure. Now, this may be out of your scope of the Lincoln Road Mall per se, but is there anything interesting happening on the entryway of east between Washington and Collins, and then the west side from, let's say, Alton to the Bay, the extension of Lincoln Road?
So I think that if you look at what Crescent Heights has got going on at 1212 Lincoln Road, it's nothing but good news for the western side of Lincoln Road, right? They're going to have the Citizen M go up, and it's going to be one of those destinations. They're going to have Sabadell's, which is going to be one of those destinations. And so when you get that sort of critical mass of things going on in one location, that sort of spreads out. So I think that you're going to see a lot of activity, both on the east and west side of Alton as a result of those people going in. The other thing that's happening on Lincoln Road in the district is Yoyoso will be opening up on the corner of the 1100 block, sort of catty corner from where Citizen M will be. And that, when you start to create those attractive destinations, things change around it. On the east side of the road, and I know that there's been some work done on offices, and recently some gyms have opened, but I think that once we get to the other side of this and have a better sense of where the beach is going in the future, we'll see interesting things happening closer to the ocean east of the pedestrianized mall, only because it's the entryway to Lincoln Road.
Your Ross building is sold too.
See?
Perfect. That's all I have. I think we can open up the floor here for the remaining 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, sounds great. Danny, did anybody have any
No.
questions? No?
Just
Um,
have his hand up.
Oh, Seth? Seth?
Hey, guys.
Seth has his hand up.
Hello,
Hey,
Seth.
how are you? Nice to see you, Tim. Pleasure to see your face. Hey, Morel, I see you a lot, so not as pleasurable as seeing Tim. Nothing to do with the plumbing. Thanks, Tim, for everything that you guys are doing. Two things. One is just, I loved all the points about the office space and stuff, the parking. I'm hoping that there's retail that's put in at the bottom of the office space and stuff. But also, it's just really good to point out that having office space in these 3 parking lots and around the beach, it actually doubles, if not triples, your the number of people that you have here, because the people that are frequenting the offices during the day are not at night, and at night that's when we get our visitors, our locals, whatever. So it really is a great way to help just smooth out the economy, especially at times like this. The other thing, and Tim, I heard your point about not wanting to get into the James Corner plan. But also, a couple of years back, someone said something to me after 11/11 was done. They said Lincoln Road needed something to talk about. And I think we're at a point of time now. My office is on Lincoln Road. I see what's happening there. I don't see as many people as we used to. It really is disheartening. I don't want to complain about it, but I want to do stuff to make it better. And I think that the James Corner plan, if they can get it in, is a really big part of that. I'm in New York regularly. The High Line is spectacular. There's so many other areas like that. And I think that we as a business community really need to step up to the plate and push the city forward to do things like this. Same thing with the Ziskovich conceptual plan for Ocean Drive and the ADCD. So I don't think it's fair to ask you to comment on that. You're welcome to if you'd like to, but I am asking that we as a business community step up to the plate to make this happen. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Seth. It's always good to hear from you.
So I have one, I don't know if Tim, you want to respond to that, but I did receive a question from Elba Machado regarding the 19 tenants, right? So you said earlier in our conversation, 19 tenants either would have already opened up or were planning to. Elba wants to know, what's the composition like? I understand that, Elba, jump on if I'm interpreting your question incorrectly, but it seems to me she wants to know what's the composition? How many more spaces do you have to fill? So just to see if we can get some sense of vacancy here.
Okay, so the rate on Lincoln Road is running at about 74%. And that goes up and down depending on, pop-ups and what else is going on. And that was a fully like a 5% drop from the beginning of COVID. When COVID happened, it just dropped 5%. It was just like that, because there were those people who were dependent, absolutely dependent on foot traffic that was not coming for a while. So we're down to 74% occupancy. The 19 spaces include Tacombe. There's a boxing gym on Washington. I know most of the people on the call are probably going there now to spar. There's a pizzeria. There's a gallery on Lincoln Road. The Pura Vida is coming to Lincoln Road. Harry's Pizza is coming to Lincoln Road. Andre Carnes de Rez is coming to Lincoln Road. And it's that sort of mix.
What about the Amazon store? Like
So the
Three-Star,
Amazon stores.
whatever
So right now they're waiting for the glass.
But it is still coming.
It's still coming. The Amazon store is coming. Yoyoso is still coming. There are the 2 restaurants, the one in the meat market space, one in the balance space. So there's action on Lincoln Road, and it's still a very desirable place to be for those people who do sort of direct face-to-face business with, large numbers of people. I think that's why the pop-ups like Shein, which is the, I think their clothing app was downloaded more often than Amazon's recently, and we did a pop-up with Shein during Miami Swim Week.
The line went around.
The line went
Crazy.
went from Meridian to Pennsylvania behind the building. And they had also allowed people to pre-register. We also did something with a sneaker release. And the line from that ran from the 800 block of Lincoln Road down to your building, Seth, of a Saturday morning. So there are these unique opportunities on Lincoln Road where through a combination of factors, they work for new and sort of traditional vendors and retailers.
Morel, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump off to get ready for the mayor's chamber chat. Danny, if you could post the link in the chat. I have a few people asking how to get on. Whenever you
The
guys.
topic today, or is he just gonna do an update on
Ocean
COVID?
Drive, fee and commission items, that'll be put on commission.
All right. So yeah, if you guys want, when we get done here, you have to jump off this Zoom and jump on a different one. Danny's gonna go put that in the chat right now. So if you want to be on there, it's usually a 15 to 25-minute chat with the mayor of Miami Beach. So feel free. Does anybody else have any last minute good and welfare or comments or questions for Tim? Everybody sleepy today?
I have a question and I want to say hi to Tim. Hi, Tim.
Hello, Deanne, how are you?
I'm terrific, and I see your brilliant and lovely wife Janet was on the line with us before as well. She's still there. Hey, Janet. I put it in the chat, but I wanted to give you a heads up, Tim, that we're bringing a modeling academy to Lincoln Road. So I'm looking forward to doing some great activations out there on the plaza where we are. Our office is in the 690 building next to Dog Bar. So it's a great location to do some live music and some live fashion shows. So
just so you know, Morris Lapid has designed Lincoln Road to be a fashion runway so that we could dress in our finery and stroll up and down Lincoln Road. And nothing brings me greater joy, as you can tell by my headshot, than to dress up in my Boulevardier outfit and stroll up and down Lincoln Road. I look forward to it. Yeah, I look forward to it.
Well, you know what? Now that you've told me that, Tim, let's talk about you being in the show. How about that?
Yeah.
I'm afraid that
for our opening night, opening day rather, the chamber's going to do a grand opening for us. So we'll talk about you being a headliner.
Okay, I'm in.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Deanne, always bringing the fun. Awesome. Well,
Morel,
yes.
real quick, I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk over you.
So
Halloween is coming. We're in a pandemic. What big, great plans can we look forward to?
So we're going to do a reprise of what we did in 2019. We're going to begin with a social media campaign starting in the beginning of October to encourage attendance. And because it's Halloween, everybody will be wearing masks, fingers crossed.
It's an outdoor event. So
Yeah, it's an outdoor event. It's Halloween on Lincoln.
You could do a really great best mask contest.
And so the thing that we realized as a result of the Lincoln Road Halloween, when I first got to Lincoln Road, they said to me, Tim, 55,000 people come to Lincoln Road. I thought, no way. You can't I've done big events all my life. I used to do Ultra. I know what numbers look like. There's no way to do 55,000 Lincoln Road. Pedestrian counters at that time did 56,000 people on the road in 2018. So.
Tim, I wanted to add on to Seth's question. So he spoke about October. I want to look even further down the line to Christmas. We had a big success with Botero, with all of those Botero sculptures. It brought so many people. I heard great reviews from businesses saying it brought a lot of foot traffic. Any sneak peek for the Christmas time and what we can expect?
Art Basel.
So we're in conversations with some sculptures right now. I'm not 100% that they're going to happen, but we're out there talking to people. We will do so. Just in case you haven't looked at your calendar, Hanukkah is very early this year. November 28th is the first night of Hanukkah. Mark your calendars. So, and come to Lincoln Road for the lighting of the menorah. It's the same weekend as the tree lighting ceremony, which is on Black Friday. And we're going to have Santa's Cabana back with our tropical Santa 2 nights a week. And our Santa Paws event for those people who want to bring their canine friends to get their picture taken with Santa. So, we have a holiday event planned on Lincoln Road, but have not secured sculptures as of yet.
Very nice. So also, I just want to add, if anybody can put in the chat, I'm always asking you for your guys' opinions, your guys' ideas. What would you like the next couple of months, our conversations to be around, our topic, our guests? If you have anybody to suggest as a guest speaker, we're open to that. So remember, this is everyone's council, where Mario and I are just lead it for you, but we want to make sure we're bringing content that you find interesting and relative.
I think we have another question from Mr. Shaw. There we go.
Yeah, I had a question. So quick announcement that I want to make. I'm doing a workshop on October 7th. It's hiring A-level team players workshop. It's free to members of Miami Chamber. So it's really, this is a key time to hire really good people or prune the garden. If you're not happy with who you have, you can replace them with great employees. So you're going to walk away with how to hire A-level team players in a week to 30 days in 3 easy steps. So that's the workshop. It's on October 7th. That's the Miami Beach Chamber. So we'd love to see if any of you would like to join. Just wanted to make a quick announcement. Thank you.
Morel, I need to get an okay on this, but I'll hit you up in the next couple of days with a perspective topic as well, which I think would be super interesting.
Beth, you need to mute yourself.
Thank you, guys.
Sorry.
I don't know. I said thank you, so just you text me what you have. That'd be great.
Thanks so much, Morel. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Morel. Great program.
We need to talk Business Badass Women of the Year. Has that been?
Sure, yeah, I mean,
So those of you may know, we have the Badass Woman of the Year that was supposed to be at the end of August, and then with the rise in the different variants coming, we have postponed it again. The new date is
December 10th.
December 10th at the Lowe's.
At the Lowe's.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We still have opportunities for sponsorship, and we definitely want to get people there. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, when before we had to reschedule, we already had over 180,000 paid RSVPs. So this is a big event.
180, not 180,000, Morel.
Sorry. 180,000.
Whoa. That's a show.
You heard it here
Morel,
first.
Morel, I do have
180,000.
another
You heard
quick
it here
announcement.
first.
Quick announcement. September 28th, Women's Business Council is moved to the fourth Tuesday of the month, and we're doing a combined council meeting with the Law Council. So Law Council, Women's Business, September 28th from 11 to 1 p.m. It will be a hybrid. We'll be in the boardroom as well as on Zoom like we're doing here for Real Estate Council.
Your phone.
And thank you, Rebecca, for joining us as well.
Yes.
A great
Thank you
addition.
so much for having me.
Hey y'all, Kevin Kruger here in the chamber over here, Rise Realty, commercial real estate broker. So this is a wonderful conversation. I put in the chat, my side career is sports marketing. And speaking of September 28th, the last Tuesday each month, just off Lincoln Road, departing from Macy's, I now have a Renew in town fun run, walk and roll. So Renew, like real estate, welcoming new businesses and people to the Miami Beach community. And that's actually also to support the Miami Athletic Association's Muhammad Ali fun run I do every February to celebrate his championship here. So those of you who are interested in coming out and meeting other professionals, staying healthy with a walk, run, or roll, and then we'll be seeking sponsorship for the February run that will finish off Lincoln Road and probably patronize lots of the local businesses. So reach out to me if you'd like. It's in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Just a couple minutes left to get everybody over to the mayor. So, they have all that
The
information in
link
there.
is in the
The
chat.
link is in the chat.
There's no registration. You can just click on it.
Just click on it and go, but you do have to get out of this one to go into that one. So thank you guys. Everybody have a great day. Go sell some real
Rebecca,
estate.
good to see you. Take care.
Thank you, Tim.
See you.
for that. I can't
Thank you,
believe I
Tim.
forgot about it. I just started last month, a Tuesday monthly
Yeah.
offer roll right from Macy's.